sidewalk.
Yeah, I gotta talk to the chief. Good evening. I'd like to stand for the pledge, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks to the veterans and their families. We appreciate your service and sacrifice. I called a special call meeting. Originally, it was going to be for the approval for the council to give me the approval to sign a contract, and then there were two other developments that came along thereafter. So there are three items on the agenda tonight that require approval from the council, and the council members have not only my letter explaining what the purpose was, but the three items that are on that agenda. My agenda.
You want to borrow that one?
The first one.
That's the one.
Oh, that's
All this is up.
that's your name. So, is this the okay?
Yeah.
Thanks. What it is. So the first item on the list is the council had approved in the budget hearings to purchase a mini excavator. We did some shopping and comparison, and where it was best that we could purchase one at this point. And by going through GMA, we'll be able to save about $1,800 in interest payments over the course of 4 years. So we could have gone through John Deere, but GMA, which the city is a member of, gave us the best interest rate, saved us the most money, and the interest rate for 48 months is 2.83%, I believe. So I'm asking for permission from the council to allow me to sign the agreement to purchase this excavator on a payment plan for the course of 4 years. So do I have a motion? Or any questions I should say first? No questions?
I'll make a motion, we approve the purchase of John Deere Mini X for the Public Works Department.
Okay, do I have a second?
I will second.
All right, all those in favor? It's unanimous. The second item that actually came up after that was a purchase agreement for replacing one of the Public Works trucks. And there again, we did some comparison, shopping around, and this would also be done through GMA lease program, and it's called a lease, but it's actually a payment plan that the city will own the vehicle after it's paid for. I think it's just a matter of the way that it's worded in government, that it's termed as a lease. I guess it was decided for a Chevy Silverado 1500, and it would have four-wheel drive. So the interest rate on that one is also 2.83%. And this was approved in the budget. However, being that we would have to enter into a contract for monthly payments, I need the approval from the council to sign said agreement. Are there any questions in reference to the pickup truck?
I have one. Is that the vehicle, that the police department's supposed to get? And I thought they were.
No, this is for what I originally wanted to do was to retire a truck from the police department, have it stripped out, made for the city workers. And it was decided at that time we weren't gonna take trucks from the city, from the police department. So this was an agreement of lump sum to purchase all payments of vehicle for the street department and for the mini excavator. But both were approved as payment, monthly payments and not actual outright. So this is an addition. And I believe this would replace one of our existing vehicles that is, or we're just going to run that until it doesn't run anymore.
How long is the lease?
4 years.
4 years. And after the 4 years,
It's ours.
it's ours.
It says lease, but it's really lease purchase, I guess, if you want to word it that way, but it will be ours.
But it'll be ours.
There's no balloon note or anything.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was asking Larry, does that make any sense? If we got the money, let's buy it, you know, it's save a lot of money. I would think, that's a better option in mine,
We didn't budget it that way.
I think we're gonna budget 41,000 in that line item,
Right.
for the mini excavator.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mayor, I do have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know much about mini excavators and work trucks, so, and I know the state contract's supposed to, get the lowest quotes for these, ahead of time. And I've worked with state contracting before, but sometimes they don't have the lowest price. In the future, if we could just get a secondary price, just to have something to compare by, especially, for example, with the excavator, I don't know, honestly, if $86,000 is a good price for mine, I am leaving that up to y'all. That's the reason I voted what I did, but I would appreciate just having a secondary, number to go by. On the maintenance and repair and warranty work, are we gonna have to take these out of town, or can we have them maintained locally? How does that work?
should be in contract.
The mini excavator, if it was warranty, we would be able to take it to the John Deere
Oh,
dealer.
okay.
Yeah,
We didn't buy any preventative maintenance service, them come out, flush fluid changes and greasing and all that, and we'll be responsible for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'd be the same as what we were doing now with our current
Right.
vehicle.
And if it gets to that.
because if you had to travel half the day, that's a lot, that's not only that a whole day paid for somebody, then,
It should be able to go to the Athens or the Bryson at first.
okay.
As far as truck goes, we can take that to any Chevy dealership, I'm assuming.
I believe.
That I haven't
I
got
would
that
think,
one.
yeah.
And the company that we went through is, I guess through GMA, which they have this, state-approved program, so that they do the bidding process, and there's a set price for everything that needs done. But I see what you're saying, if we have another one that's completely outside of that for comparison purposes, to keep everyone honest, it makes perfect sense.
It does, but basically what we're doing here though is giving you the right to go over and sign what you feel like is the best. But what my question, I guess, goes along here. We're giving you the right to sign it, but are you gonna be looking at a certain amount of bids, or are you gonna make just 2 or 3, or?
This is the competitive
Oh,
price,
just, okay.
30,000
Okay.
that would be on a lease
Okay.
agreement, which is a payment plan. So I'm basically asking the council for permission to sign, to enter into this agreement with GMA.
I'll say one other thing, I did a quick Google of this, 2022 Silverado 1500 four-wheel drive work truck. I cannot find any of them, not even remotely close to $30,000. No.
So 30 is a good price.
It's my understanding too that the vehicle shortage is also driving the cost and availability up. So if we don't secure the one Jordan and them found right now, then we're gonna have to wait.
Well,
Just like on the mini.
the tractor is that situation. The truck is still ordering it now with 12 to 16 weeks left.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're 3 or 4 months, even though this is approved.
Right.
We're we're jumping in the line now.
Okay, but we can get the excavators like now though, right?
Yes. If there's only one
And
in the
can we go ahead
area.
and jump, I hate to say jump the gun, but it's really, can go ahead and buy them all.
If we don't, it'll be spring or summer.
That would be,
No.
I thought it'd be spring at least.
And we might not get one by then.
And the price would be,
Yeah, twice that. Because with COVID going down and people are still going back to work, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to find, everybody's gonna be jumped up in prices. I think we're gonna get it when it gets good.
Are any other questions on it? So do I have a motion to approve signing and entering into an agreement for the purchase of a 2022 Chevy Silverado?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
and I'll second.
She said
Thank you.
And all those in favor? That's unanimous. And the third thing on the list, we've had a couple instances, I know my wife and I have actually gone over and mopped up water across the street at our kitchen in the community center across the street. I went through a state-approved program. The company is called Gordian, and they come back with a price of $21,516.18, and then with a 10% contingency, as it shows, that would put us at $23,668. They feel pretty strongly that we're going to be at the $21,500, but there again, until you peel back the first layer on an onion, you don't really know what you have. So, but I guess that roof has been leaking, but it got to the point where right now we've got tarps attached to the back, and it's been pretty good. We also had a problem with the air conditioner unit, that the drain was backed up, but we got that fixed, so it was adding to it.
Well, let me ask you a question. That public works building, it's connected to,
Well,
and the reason I'm asking, we've got one problem and you know what I'm saying?
yeah, the main roof over the community center, what I call the Great Hall, and the old police department, and the existing, or was existing library, is pretty much all one roof. And so that was all replaced, and the city paid 10% of the $53,000 something to have a whole new rubber roof. But the community center kitchen is attached to that, but lower, half the height. And so right now it's tin roof, and the joists of at least the parts that you tack your soffit and fascia to in the back are rotted out. They think that that's all that is rotted, but once they get that roof off, they have to replace all the rafters. That's why there's a 10% building
Right.
contingency.
That's why I'm asking.
But the roof is
smart.
not sloped enough really to have tin roof, so that's why they recommend to go with the TPO roof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I call it rubber roof, but TPO.
It's a membrane roof.
So it would be the same as what we have, and they come with a 20-year guarantee, the same as what's over all of the rest of the community center and our existing buildings that the city owns. So it's a smarter way to do it. But this would give us a 20-year guarantee on the roof, and they would stand behind it. And I understand it's like the first 2 years is the builder or contractor, and then the remaining 18 years is backed by the manufacturer, if it's done by an approved vendor. So, and they would be an approved vendor.
So that portion didn't get replaced in the library that was being done?
No, it's dropped. The part that was between the Great Hall of the community center and the other portion, which actually goes up Railroad Street, there is a fire break, a firewall, but they decided at that time it technically is all one roof. So that's why the library contractor said that it's technically all one roof and should all be replaced at the same time. Otherwise, you're going to do this, and if it leaks and goes down and follows, like water follows wherever it wants, then it could damage the new library.
Well, that's what I was also asking, you know, if we don't, if we're fixing a little square at a time,
Yeah.
then wouldn't it?
This would be all of our responsibility, because the
Right.
next roof over is the hairdressers, and that's a private thing.
Mm,
So this would be our obligation. So, like I said, they feel pretty strongly about the 21.5, but there's a 10% built in. That should cover us for any cost overruns.
Where would we have to reallocate from?
Well, this is probably gonna have to require, after the first of the year, to do some kind of a budget amendment. There is, approximately $7,800 in an emergency account, which could be moved into this. There's also funds that were approved for each community center to do improvements. So it could be a reallocation to where the difference might only be 5,000 or less. So I have looked into that, but it's gonna probably require a budget amendment, after the first of the year. But it should be minimal. But it needs to be done, because if we don't do it now, it's just only gonna get worse, because we're gonna also have to replace ceiling tiles in there that have been damaged from the water. But that can be done probably by city workers, one at a time, or whatever. Any other questions on the roof?
So by using, the state-approved contractor, prime contractor, that keeps us from getting 3 bids? Or does it ensure that this pricing is in keeping with
the 20.
what's
Competitive.
expected?
Yeah, it gets, because they do it, and the way this Gordian works, they have state approved, and there's only 17 contractors in the state of Georgia. And they have a book that might be this thick, and they basically say, if you're gonna replace, if you're gonna do some work and you gotta put in a toilet, this is what they get to put a toilet in. You gotta put in a sink, if you're gonna put in a roof, it's this much for a TPO roof.
Mhm.
If you're gonna do rafters, this is how much you're allowed per linear footboard.
Okay.
So it does help as far as competitive, and it eliminates that need. If this would have come in at $40,000 or $50,000, I would have probably said, no, we'll just put this out for bid. But at this point, I think it's a good price, and it seems to be very competitive, in my opinion. So, any other questions? At this time, I'm going to ask for approval for me to sign an agreement with this contractor in order to have the roof replaced at the community center at Jefferson Street.
Motion to approve repair of community center.
Do we have
For
a
the price of $23,668 for Gordian.
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Unanimous? And last on the list, can I have a motion to adjourn for the evening?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Seconded by Patty.
Is that hay or the what? Hay, okay.
And all those in favor? Unanimous? Thank you all for coming. I apologize for the short notice. But we got it done. You on the road too.